Hi everyone, it's Anne from Anne of Green Gardens, and I'm finally doing a little bit more with videos, especially since it's getting nicer out. I just want to share my seed starting journey that I completed in my basement in March, and I am finally getting around to editing, and I actually have also already potted up my seeds, so that's a forthcoming video as well. So I hope you enjoy, and please let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to tell me how great it was. Thank you. I'm starting my seed starting in mid-March, kind of like I had planned. And I'm starting with my basics. Right now I'm going to do several tomato varieties, and this is what I've chosen for this year. I mostly went with larger slicing tomatoes, and these are all heirlooms. And then I did get this spoon tomato as free seed when I ordered from Baker Creek. So I'm gonna try that. I don't always love super small tomatoes, but it's really cute. And I just want to give it a go and see how it goes. And this is my setup. So I'm gonna put some soil in here. It's potting mix. I have a couple left over, and that'll make it easy for me to access. I decided to, for starting the seedlings, I'm gonna put soil into here and then just kind of thinly put some seeds in. I think that will make it easier for me to pull them out then, rather than starting a whole bunch in some tiny little sections like I've done in the past. And hopefully it'll make it easier to like tease the roots apart so that I'm not damaging them too much. And over here I have these lovely markers that one of my friends gave me. It's like thousands or something. I don't know. But this looks like years worth of fun. And then, of course, a Sharpie for labeling, because that's pretty critical. So what I'm going to do is take a look at what the instructions are. And if it's not super helpful, like sometimes they don't always include the planting depth. It looks like this one does, 1/8 of an inch. I'll sometimes just look that up real quick and write it down in a notebook, just so I don't have to keep looking at my phone for each different flower or plant that I'm trying to grow. But I think this should be adequate. Tomatoes are pretty easy to start. I'll just put the soil in and then push down the seeds a little bit after I've sprinkled them on top. And then I will dampen the soil and keep it as damp as I can till they sprout. I've planted my Kellogg's breakfast seeds. Without thinking, I sowed a lot in this first one. So I put 12 in. And then this one, I was going to do another 12. And I was like, wow, that's 24. I do not need 24 Kellogg's breakfast plants. It's really hard to stop yourself from sowing a lot, especially when you open your packet and you realize you have at least 50 seeds of one variety. So I'm hoping that when some of these grow, maybe they won't all make it. I don't know. I think I'm setting myself up for having too many plants and not enough grow light in my basement once again. So we will see how this goes. And I did, for this one, I did stick my finger and it made a tiny little divot for each section. And I don't know if you can see it, but I did put the seeds in. And then I'm going to lightly cover with some of the soil, and then press it down just so it's kind of even, and then I'll be gently watering and spraying on the top just to dampen the entire area. But again, this probably took like 2 minutes to do, so sowing seeds can go pretty quickly as long as you have what you need available. My tomatoes are all started, and I'm moving on to the peppers because I wanted to just start the things that need a little bit more time. I do not eat hot peppers. I don't even really eat jalapenos, although my husband did request them this year because he wants to make a peanut butter and jalapeno sandwich. So I will try to find some jalapenos at some point. But I did get this datil pepper as free seed from Baker Creek, and it is a really hot pepper. It is said to have vicious heat. So that's a little creepy, but I'm very curious to try growing it. And so I have found a few people who would like the plants. So I'm going to at least grow a few plants. I may keep one for myself, but it does scare me a little bit because I honestly can't even really handle jalapenos. And then for sweet peppers, I have these two seed packets. They're from the dollar store. I have had some success with dollar store plants or seeds before. So this is just like a mix of bell peppers. So that'll be kind of a surprise. See what I get. And then this one, I just made sure when I bought this that it would not be green because I do not like green peppers. I think they taste weird, and then later when you burp them up, they also taste weird. So it says these will ripen to a red. So these will be my sweet bell peppers. And again, I think I'm going to be placing maybe 6 or 9 seeds in one of these, just to give them a little space. All of my tomatoes and peppers are sown, and I would say it probably took a total of 10 minutes. So this really is quite a fast process. I'm gonna go get my little water spray bottle and spray the tops to moisten everything. And then I'll probably use a watering can to like really get the water down. And I actually do have some heat mats that I got last year for tomatoes and peppers because their seeds really love the heat to germinate. So not super necessary, but it does speed up the process, and I have them, so I'm going to use it. And because I have all of the tomatoes and peppers on this tray, I'm only going to need to use one for these guys. So I will show the setup for that later when I have a few more things sown. My next move is onto flowers, and I was looking at them and I just had to do my delphiniums first because they're probably one of my favorite flowers. They obviously come in these beautiful shades of blue and purple and a little pink, and you can see there's some white. And I do believe there are some newer varieties that are way more pink. However, because I love these shades, I'm just going to be sticking to these for now. I accidentally bought these dwarf magic fountains twice. So I'm gonna make sure they're both packed for 2023, make sure they're not old. I'm pretty sure they're both new. And I'm going to sow a whole bunch, and I'm very excited for this because I was looking outside yesterday, and they are perennial, and you can tell they start to come back in like late winter, early spring, which is around now. So I think I've lost several plants just for various reasons. And I don't think it's going to have quite the impact that I've had in the past, where it's just these tall, like conical flowers, bright blues and purples. So I'm very excited to get that back. And yeah, I'll show you the setup when I have that all done. Really quickly, I just wanted to show a couple of things that I've already sown. One is dahlias, so you can start them from seed. Most people buy them from the tubers. If you buy them from seed and start them from seed, you're not really guaranteed exactly how it's going to turn out. So when you buy the tuber, what they've done is they've basically cut apart an already established flower, and it's going to be basically a clone of whatever part it was cut from. So usually it's like kind of like a bunch of fingers of the tubers, and you might get one or two, and so you're guaranteed to know what it is. So this is a bit more fun, I think, because you are gonna hopefully get something similar to this, to what's on the packet. I actually did not sow this one. I got from somebody just because I have kind of limited space, and I did also buy some tubers. Whoops. So, running out of space, I just decided to go with the packet ones. And then these two were from the same person. It's from a seed swap group. And I had to look them up to see what the planting was, just because every seed it has a different requirement. And then really quickly, I am sowing the anise hyssop or hyssop. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. It is a native to this area, and I just wanted to show how small these seeds are. So rather than make little holes for these, this one says to surface sow, and I just kind of grabbed a little pinch and I try to sprinkle it fairly evenly. I couldn't possibly begin to find where these went, but it doesn't matter because they need light to germinate anyway. So that one was kind of fun and easy to do. It's kind of like a little sprinkle of salt there. And I have a few more that I'm going to be doing shortly. And there are the flowers that I've done so far. I just started sowing my pink celery, which I grew last year. And look how tiny these are. Luckily, this is also a surface sowing one, so I'll just be kind of sprinkling them over the top and then lightly pressing down so they make contact with the soil medium. But I just wanted to share the teeny tiny nature of some of these seeds, which is a little insane. This is my one set of grow lights, and I got this set of 3 units last year from Amazon. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And when things get bigger and I have to pot them up, I will be crowding these shelves real bad. And pretty much what I think I'll probably do, and I've done in the past, is I'll be turning all of these sideways and cramming them in. Unfortunately, the light doesn't extend to the end of the shelves, so whatever is kind of stuck on the end might not get quite as much light. But in general, it seems to work pretty well. And you can sort of see under here, this is the heat mat that I bought and I'm using, and I plugged it in so it'll be on 24/7 for right now, and I could feel it's warm. And that jump starts the tomato and pepper seeds because they really respond well to that. These other guys don't really need it. Most things don't need it to be that hot. And again, these will germinate anyway. It'll just take way longer. And then over here is the cat. Bye. Where I started my pansies in January. And so this is the only one that's been on for the last month and a half or so, 2 months, whatever. And you can see these are growing so well, and I'm very happy. I had 3 different types. One was called Mineola Heart Aqua, and it's kind of like a blue and yellow. So I'm very excited to see those flowers. I did one called Got the Blues. All of these are Got the Blues, and it's, you know, what it sounds like. It's like a purpley blue. It's supposed to be a big pansy. And then down here you can see I have my first bloom. This is a Victorian pansy mix, and it's just so pretty, and I'm very excited to see what else is happening. All of the ones here that I can see, they look like they're going to be the same, like purple and white, even though I think these are on different plants. So we'll see how that mix turns out. And then lastly, I started primroses from seed, and I'm super excited about this. This is actually probably the one that I'm most excited about for this year. I don't really know why, but I do love primroses, and I got a mixed packet, so it's supposed to be all sorts of colors, but they are growing so incredibly slowly. Like this guy, this is the first one that came up. It finally has its true leaves, just one set, and you know, like, look how small they are. These are probably at least a month old, probably a month and a half. And Donut is very helpful with my seeds. She makes sure that I water them and take care of them. I'm just kidding. She's bugging me because she wants food. And then, so just to show you what I have here, I have extra container cells for when I go to pot some stuff up, because this is like a much bigger size and it's easy to cut that apart if I'm going to give some plants away to somebody. And then over here is where I generally have been keeping my seeds, in a dark container. And I have used this liquid, it's like a seaweed fish fertilizer that I dilute pretty heavily. I've used that twice in the pansies, and clearly they like it a goodly amount. And then up here is where I have some of my extra trays ready for potting up. And lastly, these, which I think these are going to be some of the most useful ones. These were just ones that I had saved and washed from last year. So that will also be for potting up. Thanks for joining me. I really had a lot of fun this year with starting my seeds, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed it as well.